Ahead on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
On this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, ensuring cattle get the proper nutrition and minerals regardless of the weather, plus the winners of this year's WD Forest Scholarship Awards.
And now, NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. Topping this week's cattle industry news, it's the worst drought our country has seen in 60 years, and it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, roughly 70% of cattle-producing regions are suffering from drought conditions, and more than half of all counties in the United States have been designated disaster areas so far this year. The USDA is working to provide assistance to those who are facing hardships due to lack of feed, water, and forage. NCBA President-elect and Wyoming dairy producer Scott George says that the drought is having an extreme effect not only on cattle producers, but across all of agriculture.
One challenge which absolutely is weighing on everyone's mind right now across this country is this drought that we're seeing. Depleting, decreasing corn crop, increasing corn prices. We're seeing the cattle markets starting to fall because the feeders are looking at these costs they're going to have to deal with and know that they can't. They've got to cut the costs somewhere, and it's going to come right back to the cow-calf guy in the end, or the stocker operator, because they're going to receive less for their cattle. There's not a lot we can do about the weather, but boy, oh boy, we need to make sure that we are using every resource we can in the best way that we can.
We are already starting to see some of the short-term effects from this severe drought, but there are undoubtedly also going to be some longer-term consequences. Here in the studio for more on what cattle producers should be aware of is Dwayne Lenz, Manager of Operations and Analyst Services for CattleFax. Dwayne, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Great to be here, Kevin.
You bet. Well, first of all, just give folks a little perspective on just how widespread this drought is this year.
Kevin, it's very widespread. It's one of the biggest droughts that we've seen sometime, maybe going back to the 50s. Looks like about 70% of the cow herd is being affected, and that's on the heels of a tough drought last year in the Southwest and South Plains. Additionally, nearly all the corn crop is being affected as well, which has other ramifications for our industry going forward.
Tell us what you think that means, at least in the short term.
For the different segments, cow-calf, of course, they're having to pull calves, stalkers are having to pull stalkers early, so they're not getting the full benefit of the weight gain that they would typically have. More intermediate term is the hay situation is going to get very tough, especially in the North Plains. The high cost, if you can find it, it's going to eat into the profitability, really make it tough. And then as you go further out, the higher corn is starting to affect feedlots. They're losing a lot of money. Once you buy the feeder cattle or the calves, next big cost is grain. You can't pay as much for grain, you roll back and have to pay less for your feeder cattle and calves. So the cow-calf producer is getting a double whammy as far as lower prices now and higher cost. And the feedlots are going through some extreme losses that they're going to have to try to figure out going forward as well.
Yeah, amazing the difference that 3 or 4 months can make, isn't it?
Oh, geez, yeah.
So let's look out a little longer term, and if we get through the next several months and into the next cropping year and stuff, what do you see then?
Well, again, it's going to affect everybody in the chain, from the consumers to the seed stock producers, just everybody in between. You know, starting again at the cow-calf level, expansion is on hold. We really thought we had the profitability. We thought that we have a little grass, a little water. We're going to start to expand this herd, get our numbers back. That's probably not going to happen now, you know, at least for another year and maybe longer, depending on the winter and the spring that we have next year. For the feedlot and for the packing industry, the infrastructure is going to get hurt. We won't have the numbers. We'll probably have to lose some capacity in feedlots, either feedlots shutting down, idling aisles, doing something. Of course, you like those industries growing and moving. Same way with the packing industry. Probably going to lose some hook space. We just don't have the numbers to support all the packing capacities that we have. And then you go to the next level, consumers. You know, this is affecting the beef industry greatly, no doubt, but it's also impacting the poultry and the pork. So all the proteins are going to cost more starting next year. It's going to be a fight with these other proteins for the consumer to see where they want to spend their dollars.
One thing's for certain, there will be uncertainty moving forward, right?
Oh, well, yes, it's going to be something to see, I'm afraid.
Yes. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
For more expert information and analysis about the drought, visit cattlefax.com. It's no surprise that the drought was a big topic of conversation at this year's summer conference in Denver. And we had a chance to catch up with a few producers from across the country to see how it's affecting their own operations.
The drought has been real tough where we're at. We're probably, in South Dakota, it depends on where you're at in the state. Some parts aren't hit as bad, but where we're at, right close to the Wyoming-Montana line, we're really dry, extremely dry. And we've gone from one extreme where we were very wet and had a great year last year to one of the driest, toughest years on record.
We know a lot of folks who are really in a world of hurt. They're cutting numbers, they're starting to make plans, they've run out of grass, and they will definitely be out of hay.
Some areas are particularly dire. South central Missouri has been having a drought, gosh, since spring. You can play marbles on their pastures and not lose the marbles. We've got spot areas where they're running out of water. And of course, as we know, usually you can find some feed, but when you run out of water, you're out of business.
The market conditions that go along with the drought, corn going through the roof, break-evens rising, it's very difficult to find it. The shrinking cow herd, as the drought spreads and causes more people to liquidate their cattle, is going to have an impact for years to come. It'll take, I think they said, 4 years to even start to rebuild the herd, and that's a long time.
It's a real concern. Pastures are drying up, people are using some hay or other feed source, gluten, byproducts, etc. But it just keeps getting a little worse, and the big concern is what are we going to do down the road.
Now, if you or someone you know is struggling with the effects of this drought, assistance may be available through USDA. Log on to beefusa.org to find out more. Also in the news, a challenge to funding under the beef checkoff. Mike Kellercrate, Vice President of the Organization for Competitive Markets and a Colorado cattleman, filed a lawsuit in federal court in Kansas seeking a permanent injunction against beef checkoff contracts with NCBA. During a meeting at which OCM announced the suit, a spokesman revealed that attorneys for the Humane Society of the United States, a known activist group, had assisted in its preparation. The lawsuit names the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack, the Cattlemen's Beef Board, the Beef Promotion Operating Committee, and USDA's Agricultural Marketing Service as defendants. We'll continue to update you on the situation as information becomes available. Ahead on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
We've taken what was an industry-leading product in terms of weatherization and consistent intake and made it better.
A new mineral program that stands up to wind and rain. Plus, a look at how one Virginia family is protecting their operation from urban sprawl. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman on RFD TV.
Draxxin, clearly cattlemen's #1 choice to fight BRD. Here's why.
Nothing is more depressing in a stalker business as the doctor. And you still have your chronics, you still have your death loss. And with Draxxin, we just found out that, especially with microplasts, you just had to be there to see the results.
And the evidence backs up what most cattlemen already know. Draxxin cuts chronics and mortalities by 70%. So talk to your veterinarian and check the online calculator at draxxin.com. You'll see, nothing gives you more for your money when you're fighting BRD.
Just a great antibiotic. Very, very effective. Don't let the price tag scare you.
It's a no-brainer. You just use it.
Do not use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older. Do not use in calves to be processed for veal. Draxxin has a pre-slaughter withdrawal time of 18 days. Please visit draxxin.com or call 1-888-DRAXXIN for more information.
It's time to wrap up your savings on John Deere hay tools. With big bonus cash or special financing on our high-quality lineup of mower conditioners, balers, and select hay tools. Or if you have a utility tractor in mind, take advantage of great deals available now on rugged 5 Series and 6 Series tractors. Roll on in and wrap up your savings. Like summer, these deals won't last, so hurry in today.
To stay up to date on beef industry news and the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, check out beefusa.org. You'll find news on both the Federation of State Beef Councils and the work of NCBA on Capitol Hill. Plus, link to NCBA programs like the blog, Beltway Beef, updates on the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, and the latest from NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. Connect today at beefusa.org.
Welcome back. Controlling flies, optimizing immunity, and reproductive efficiency are goals of most cattlemen, and they're issues that can be supported by focusing on nutrition. Land O'Lakes Purina Feeds is working hard to ensure cattle get proper nutrition and minerals into their diets to optimize herd health, quality, and productivity. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter heads to Bloomington, Indiana to see how Purina's new Wind and Rain Storm mineral was developed to overcome the odds.
Everybody's got a love of something. Everybody's got an interest. Everybody's got a passion. And mine is these cattle. I really enjoy it. Just trying to make the most complete animal that I can make.
Steve Quimby began raising cattle 30 years ago in southern Indiana. Herd health is very important to the Quimby Cattle Company, and when Steve noticed his herd was not performing at its peak, he called a local cattle specialist.
Really?
Known Steve for several years, and a year ago he challenged me to improve some problems that he was having with his herd.
We used to have flies really bad. This new Purina mineral I tried really helped from controlling the flies. And so, you know, like in people, we must all have the right nutrition if we're going to be healthy, and I believe the same thing's got to take place in the livestock.
Purina's Wind and Rain Storm mineral made a difference Steve says he could see. It also helped address other issues.
It involved reproductive efficiency, herd health, feed issues, fly control, fly pressure, immunity in calves, and we designed a program to start off with to address some of those challenges, and we'll continue to tweak those as we move forward. We got cows to eat mineral. Consistency level was good. Even the calves nursing the cows on side were hitting the feeder consistently, hitting all the cows. Cows spent less time last summer standing in the pond, in the creek. Fly pressure was noticeably less, not near the foot challenges. Immune function was good.
I worked with David Newsom. He's been very good and helped me. I called him probably 2 to 3 years ago, and I've always respected David and his knowledge of the cattle industry and the nutritional aspect of it. And I called him and told him some of the problems I was having, and he said, give me a little time and I'll get it worked out. And he was very faithful about calling me back, coming visiting me. We walked through the cattle. He came up with some ideas. So I started using his product and how he wanted me to use it, and I've seen success out of it. Him and Purina people has been very good for me.
Purina's new mineral formula, Wind and Rain Storm, combines several new technologies and improves upon previous formulas to create something beneficial for both the cattle and producers. Purina's research farm in Missouri develops new products to meet customers' needs, and each time the research team starts by looking for a solution to a problem.
The thing that we tried to do with the Storm mineral is to provide a way for it to resist water, not digestion. And we're able to do that with the technology that our process research group came up with. But the next step is to identify or ensure that it is digestible, because if it gets wet and it dries out and clumps up, you got to throw it away. It's a bad thing. But if it resists the water, then your question is, well, are the cows going to be able to utilize it? So basically, we have a lot of capabilities here at our facility with our metabolism unit, where we can look at the mineral in different situations, whether it be in vitro digestion or in the cow, and we've identified and determined that we have not decreased digestion at all.
I worked with Dr. Scott in the lab. We took probably 30 or 40 different treatments, different ingredients, and different processing techniques, and then we put them in a small artificial rainforest where we sprayed water on them, put it under a heat lamp to simulate the sun to make sure it would still flow. Then we turned them over to Dr. Scott, where he did the palatability and the consumption work, as well as digestibility and nutritional availability work.
Dr. Scott and Dr. Lanter worked closely together to develop Purina's Wind and Rain Storm Mineral to meet the needs of cattlemen just like Steve Quimby.
The consumption was up quite a bit, very consistent. On my little operation, it seemed like, before if I'd put out a bag of mineral, it might last 2 weeks, it might last a week. There was really what you call no consistency. With this new mineral putting out every week for no more cows than I got, I don't know how that broke down as far as ounces, 4 to 5 ounces per head or whatever, but every week that would just be consistent right across the board. I don't feed my mineral open. I have it in a feeder that's got covers on it. From that standpoint, there was one feeder over on the back that I had that was a little open, and those cattle went ahead and ate that after it rains and everything. There was no problem. It didn't set up. It stayed very pliable, and it was very, very easy to consume.
So we've actually been able to make snack eaters out of cattle. So they walk up to a feed bunk, eat a little bit, walk away, come back later and eat some more. And with that, we've made cattle more efficient.
Really excited about the Wind and Rain Storm Mineral, as we've taken what was an industry-leading product in terms of weatherization and consistent intake and made it better. Our results in terms of fine-tuning the intake and getting closer to our 4-ounce average across multiple test herds was very intriguing. The mineral doesn't brick up as much when it got wet as the old product, and we've made substantial strides in improvement.
When we return, we'll have more on ensuring cattle get the proper nutrition and minerals. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
No storm is too powerful for new Purina Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, formulated with ultimate weather resistance. That means more minerals in the feeder and available to your cattle. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals provide more consistent intake and balanced mineral nutrition to optimize herd health and breedback rates. See the difference at your local Purina dealer or visit cattlenutrition.com. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, another way Purina is building better cattle.
I'm looking forward to having Vista once back. We weren't able to find an equivalent product.
I think our practice will be very quick to adopt Vista when it comes back.
All of my veterinary colleagues have all talked about the product coming back.
We're glad to have Vista back in the product line.
Cattlemen that we work with will be glad to have the product.
We have a lot of producers that are excited about it coming back.
Yeah, can I recommend Vista once? Yeah, that's going to go right back in the cooler, and it goes right back in the calves.
I'm an NCBA member.
I'm an NCBA member because I think as an advocacy group, NCBA has done some great things for our industry, and I kind of feel compelled to give back some of what they've done for us.
I'm an NCBA member because it's an organization that stands up for the industry that I love and will allow my family to continue and to be a part of this great industry.
Because this organization is looking out for cattle producers.
I'm an NCBA member because NCBA doesn't pick and choose what issues it works on. It works on every issue, every day, on behalf of all the cattlemen across the country.
They understand what makes our cow-calf business profitable.
Join me and thousands of other cattlemen across the country.
Join me today.
Join me today.
Join NCBA today and receive a new member gift while supplies last. Head to beefusa.org and enter the promo code C2C or call 866-USA-BEEF and mention C2C.
Welcome back. Let's return to reporter Brian Baxter, who's looking at a new product from Land O'Lakes Purina Feed that ensures your cattle get the minerals they need no matter what the weather.
Purina's passion for excellent animal health, nutrition, and husbandry means products are research tested to meet or exceed expectations.
What our cattleman finds in the product that comes from our research center here is the time and effort and quality control and innovation that it takes and time it took to develop products for them. These aren't things that we can just look at someone's tag and copy it and put it out on the shelf. This is something where we spend a lot of time and effort feeding cattle, working in process, working with plants, putting in new equipment to develop new products.
It's all about passion. If we love what we do, and if we didn't love what we did, we wouldn't do a very good job of it. And we're known as the leaders or the innovators in the industry, and that's because of a variety of things. Number one, you mentioned passion. Number two, we have had a continual investment in research and development.
That dedication on Purina's research farm translates to the local level, where cattle specialists take the time to ensure your herd gets the correct mineral.
I'll ask questions, what's important to them? What feed resources are available? What's your biggest challenge? What's your biggest problem? And then we'll start with the big things first and fine tune as we move forward. And like I said, need to know what resources are available, whether they're hand feeding cows or they've got good quality hay or poor quality hay, if fly pressure is an issue, if we've had foot problems, if reproductive performance, and we really want to know what those big challenges are, and then we'll start attacking there and then fine tune and get the fine details as we move forward.
From what I want to accomplish, maybe some of the problems I had in my herd, the Purina mineral has seemed to help limit those problems, maybe correct those problems. And not saying everything's fault-free, nothing's perfect, but I think we're sure on the right track with the way we're headed.
Developing a new mineral for specific issues ensures a targeted and effective nutrition program. The experts at Land O'Lakes Purina Feed know that herd health is the most important aspect for any operation.
I think one of the biggest challenges when you're trying to figure out a new nutrition program is understanding what are your limitations, what are you trying to solve, rather than just taking something off the shelf and trying to use it in whatever way you can. It's good to know the features and attributes of products that you may be looking at and matching them up with the challenge that you have for a good solution. And that's where our salespeople and our dealers come in, because they can help our cattlemen get their hands around what are they trying to get done and how we may have some solutions to those challenges.
From a cow-calf perspective, minerals are the single most important thing we can have. Minerals are the basic building blocks to all metabolic function, and we want to optimize our forage resources, and we certainly know that if we don't have those tools right, the simplest form of supplementation, 3 to 4 ounces per cow per day, that we can't effectively utilize our greatest resource, and that's our grasses.
The Purina program has made a difference that I can see in my cattle operation as I walk through it, from the standpoint the cattle look healthier, they look more vibrant, and they're just in better condition, and I'm very, very pleased with what Purina has done for me.
It's a difference you can see. Purina's Wind and Rain Storm Mineral, with the ultimate in weather resistance and consistent consumption that reduces waste and optimizes herd health and performance, all for more profit potential for the cattleman. Minerals that soak up water will cake up and form a hard crust, a layer that cattle won't eat. Purina's Wind and Rain Storm sheds the water and remains palatable.
I guess one of the biggest things I've learned here is you have to stick to it, because a lot of the really big advances take quite a few years. A number of the biggest ones I've worked on took 6-7 years from the time we first started and started testing them on our research farm to when we actually had a plant built and were successful selling it to our customers, was really able to give them the benefits. So it takes quite a while to develop a really game-changing product.
The one thing that we noted in some of the testimonies that we had from the cattlemen that tried the mineral is that they can tell a difference in the mineral, because when they put it out and it gets wet, they had less waste. And when cattle eat mineral consistently, they look better and they look different. It's really a difference you can see.
I'm not going to say Purina is the only mineral. I'm not going to say they're the best mineral. But for my operation, it flat works. And so I would advise it for anyone.
Reporting from the Quimby Cattle Company in Bloomington, Indiana, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Purina's Wind and Rain Storm Mineral is designed to put more of your mineral dollars to work in the cow, resulting in optimal herd health and reproduction for more profit potential. Purina's Wind and Rain Storm Mineral is available in specific regions and will be available nationally by early 2013. To see the difference for yourself with Wind and Rain Storm, talk to your local Purina representative to find out more, or just visit us online at cattlemantocattleman.org. We'll be right back.
There's something wrong. His head is down. He's clearly stressed. He's worried sick about BRD. That's why there's prescription Zactran for BRD treatment and control in high-risk cattle. Get a rapid response plus 10-day treatment and control in a single dose, so you can stop worrying and get back to business. For use in cattle only, do not treat cattle within 35 days of slaughter. Because a discard time in milk has not been established, do not use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, or in calves to be processed for veal. The effects of Zactran on bovine reproductive performance, pregnancy, and lactation have not been determined. Don't worry yourself sick. Talk to your veterinarian about a real alternative for BRD treatment and control. Because it's critical, it's Zactran from Marielle, a leading animal health company.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Dan Thompson from Doc Talk. Each week on Doc Talk, we'll be discussing important issues such as livestock management and welfare, important and new agricultural research, and how to keep our food supply safe. My guests will include nationally and internationally known veterinarians and animal scientists. So if you farm, ranch, or eat, you'll find something of interest in every single episode. Watch Doc Talk every Monday on RFD TV at 4:30 p.m. or online at doctalktv.com.
There's only one place to find cattle industry updates, market highlights, and stories by cattlemen for cattlemen.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Learn about every segment of the industry, from cow-calf producers to feeders, from beef safety to food service and retail. Join host Kevin Oxner for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, Tuesday nights at 8:30 Eastern on RFD TV.
Welcome back. Two graduate students, one studying animal science and the other studying agricultural water management, are the recipients of this year's W.D. Forrest Scholarships from the National Cattlemen's Foundation. The $12,000 awards recognize superior achievements in academics and leadership and will allow them to further their study in fields that benefit the beef industry. Both students were thrilled when they found out they would be the recipients of this prestigious award.
I was shocked when I received word that I would be receiving such a huge honor, not only because of the caliber of the applicants, but also because of what W.D. Forrest stood for, especially in his innovations and really spearheading water conservation. And it was just an honor to be recognized in that range of names.
It's a true honor. I mean, the other applicants are the best of the best, and to be selected one of the award winners is just really humbling. If we just focus on what we have today, today will be gone, and tomorrow we'll be left empty-handed. And so the National Cattlemen's Foundation, to support education, is only ensuring the future of American agriculture and the American beef industry.
Joining me in the studio is Dr. Jessica Igo, a past winner of the W.D. Forrest Scholarship and Director of Meat Science for the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Dr. Igo, thanks so much for coming to the show.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
Well, first of all, tell folks a little bit about your responsibilities at NCBA.
Well, I work in Research, Education, and Innovations Group, and it's a contractor of the beef Checkoff, specifically in the product enhancement section of it. I work a lot with tenderness and aging and flavor and just trying to make sure that we have the best product out there to increase beef demand. I also work in new products and do a bunch of beef cutting of the new innovative cuts. And then I also do a little bit of beef safety work.
Keeps your plate pretty full, it sounds like.
It does. A lot of travel is involved.
Now, you've been particularly involved with this beef quality audit that has recently been completed. Tell us a little bit about your work there.
So what I did was specifically phase 1 of the National Beef Quality Audit. And those were face-to-face interviews. And we talked to retailers, food service, packers, feedlot entities, and also allied industries, just to get an idea and kind of benchmark the quality defects and shortfalls of the industry and what they're wanting in their beef products and what they're actually getting.
How has the W.D. Forrest Scholarship helped you in that work?
Well, receiving the W.D. Forrest Scholarship was huge. it specifically allowed me to focus completely on the research and give it all I had instead of having to balance school, research, and another job just to make it through school. So it was huge in letting me focus completely on the National Beef Quality Audit.
Well, I have to ask you, with WD Farr being from the area that I'm from and such a legend up there, what does it mean personally to be one of the recipients of the WD Farr Scholarship?
Well, like you said, WD Farr was a legend. It's a huge honor to be a recipient and to be named with all of the other recipients. I mean, he has a huge legacy and made a huge impact in the beef industry and was such an innovator. And I just hope that, you know, I can continue that on and make a difference in the beef industry.
Very good. Well, thank you, and thank you so much for coming to the show.
Well, thank you.
For more information on the WD Farr Scholarship Program or to learn about past winners of the award, just visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
They're out there, lurking on your pasture, just waiting to infect your cattle as they graze. Cattle worms cost you money, but a Safeguard strategic deworming program allows you to deworm your cattle and lower worm burdens on your pasture, resulting in improved pregnancy rates and heavier calf weights. Plus, there's a Safeguard form for every operation. So start killing parasites where they lurk. Talk to your animal health provider today about a Safeguard strategic dewormer program. Safeguard. Think strategically. Act decisively.
It's the official monthly publication of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. The National Cattleman is produced exclusively for NCBA members and includes coverage of the news and events affecting our industry. From Capitol Hill to the far side of cattle country, the National Cattleman provides information NCBA members need. Every issue includes market analysis, feature stories, and practical management tips. Start receiving your copy of The National Cattleman. Call 866-USA-BEEF or go online to beefusa.org and join today.
Welcome back. Environmental stewardship. It's something every cattleman pays close attention to. And for 21 years, the Environmental Stewardship Award Program has recognized farms and ranches across the country for their outstanding commitment to preserving land and wildlife. Over the next several weeks, we'll be bringing you the stories from all 7 of this year's regional winners. And this week, we begin our series with a Region 1 winner from Round Hill, Virginia.
You'll find Glen Owen Farm at the foot of the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia. The Thomas family has owned this operation for more than 2 centuries, and their cattle have been recognized by the American Angus Association as an historic herd.
Glen Owen Farm was first started when they moved here from Pennsylvania in 1784. It's been in the family ever since.
We currently farm 800 acres. We have 275 cattle, 120 females, 20 bred heifers. Principally, over time, we have sold registered Angus bulls to local commercial cattle producers in the 3-state area.
Glen Owen Farm sits just 60 miles from downtown Washington, D.C., so urban encroachment has become an issue. Several years ago, the Thomas family made a long-term commitment to preserve their farm by placing it in a permanent conservation easement, which forever protects the land from development.
We're in a beautiful part of the country, but a rapidly urbanizing part of the country. We're using a management strategy and a family ownership perpetuation process to ensure this farm remains a Thomas farm for many generations to come.
What the conservation easements do first and foremost is they preserve the land base. So once you've got the land base conserved so that it isn't going to grow houses, then it opens up a lot of possibilities.
With the conservation easement in place, the Thomas family then worked with the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service to develop a 10-year best management practices plan. One key aspect of the plan was to put in place systems to reduce the amount of runoff that enters ponds and streams. This included a nutrient management plan for the cropland, as well as installing over 5 miles of fencing to protect surface water from access by livestock.
There are many environmental challenges in the area that we operate in. The one that overshadows all of them is the responsibility to keep the Chesapeake Bay clean. Our water here falls into the Chesapeake Bay watershed, so we're very mindful of the effluent from our farm, animal manure, fertilizers in the field, getting into the streams and into the Chesapeake Bay.
It feels good because the Chesapeake Bay is really important and it's really pretty, and I really want to be a part of its conservation. We want to keep it good so all the animals in there can survive.
For the thousands of people that travel this road every day to look across that bottom and see new fences, that there's not cattle in the streams, that the water's clean, it's a great model. It's a great model for agriculture.
In addition, the Thomas family added new systems for getting water to cattle in pastures where it wasn't available before. With the new water systems, Glen Owen Farm was able to implement a new pasture management program, which includes rotational grazing.
We have, over the last couple of years, significantly upgraded our fencing infrastructure to enable a rotational grazing system. This has enabled us to increase the grazable land on the farm. We've increased our herd size to make the farm more productive. We've also seen, by making water more readily available and in better quality, the conception rate of our cattle have improved, both on the AI and on the bulls that are siring calves on the farm.
It's certainly in the future going to benefit us, cut down on our workload, cut down on inputs, cut down on machinery cost. Of course, if the cattle have fresh water and green grass and a fence to hold them in, those are 3 main objectives right there.
We're very pleased with what we've accomplished here in the way of our stewardship initiatives, but I can tell you, the more that we invest, the more ideas that we get about future strategies of conservation.
The property also provides habitat and safe shelter from urban sprawl for a variety of wildlife. All of the stewardship efforts of the Thomas family help to ensure that the family farming legacy of Glen Owen Farm will continue for future generations.
It's been in the family a long, long time, and I heard a saying not long ago that no success without a successor, and I think we've got a lot of successors coming on.
It feels good because I know that I'm a part of something much bigger than myself, and it's been in my family for a lot of generations, and my grandfather and my dad have been working really hard on it, and it makes me feel like I'm a big part of something that has been around not just in my lifetime, but a long time before that.
I view environmental stewardship as both a gift and a responsibility. I look at the farm here at Glen Owen and have a sense of gratitude for my ancestors who've presented this to me. At the same time, I feel a huge responsibility to continue its upkeep, to perpetuate the family ownership, and to ensure the quality of the land for our use and for those around us remains of supreme quality.
We'll be bringing you the profile of a different winner each week here on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. To learn more about the ESAP program or to see profiles on past winners, just visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. One half of the beef sold in the U.S. is served at restaurants, but it takes work to keep it on the menu, especially as supplies get tighter and prices go higher. Recently, the Beef Checkoff sponsored an event to help some of the nation's top chefs explore creative ways to put beef on restaurant menus. Cattleman to Cattleman reporter Brian Baxter has more from California.
There was sizzle in the kitchen and plenty of beef on the menu as some of America's leading restaurant chefs participated in an event funded by the Beef Checkoff and designed to give these culinary professionals new beef menu ideas.
Beef is number one on their menu, and we need to keep it there because that's important. We've come up with these new ideas, be it the country style ribs or the flat iron or any of these other cuts, and they're just excited to have new cuts to put on their menu at different price points.
Held in California at the Culinary Institute of America at Greystone, the Beef It's What's on the Menu event brought together culinary decision makers from leading restaurants, retailers, and packers. The experience included sessions on beef economics and sustainability, cutting demonstrations, and hands-on work cooking with new beef cuts.
It's actually, I saw a couple of interesting cuts, like the Denver, cut, the rancher steak. I think those are very beneficial, especially for a concept like Chili's, that we can obviously bring a quality product to our customers at an affordable price.
It's trying to find a way to introduce those new cuts into the restaurant and coming up with those great names or great recipes, because we're kind of stuck doing the same thing all the time. So the Beef Checkoff gives us those opportunities.
In addition to funding from the National Beef Checkoff program, Checkoff dollars from Texas, California, Kansas, Iowa, South Dakota, and Florida made the education event possible.
This is what the Checkoff is for. Our whole job is to help promote and educate about beef and increase beef sales, really get people, consumers and food service alike, to really understand beef in a better way. And this is how it's done.
It's a small investment that'll have huge returns, hopefully, for the industry. If we get more items on the menus throughout the industry, that can really help.
Altogether, more than 30 chefs participated in one of two-day sessions, taking home insights and information to help keep beef on the menu. I'm Brian Baxter reporting for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
For more information about this event or the newest cuts of beef, just visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. Stay with us. Baxter Black is up next. We'll be right back.
Hi there, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rory, and welcome to our farm outside Nashville, Tennessee. When we go to work, whether it's on tour or here at home, we wear the West.
That's right. Whether it's that perfect snap shirt or that perfect pair of boots, when you wear Roper, you wear the West.
Learn more about us, Joey and Rory, and about Roper Western Wear at eroper.com.
Telling the truth and being real, and feeding my family a home-cooked meal. That's important to me. That's important to me. And planting the garden and watching it grow.
Quality matters to me because I'm responsible for managing the natural resources under my care, providing clean water and healthy feed, and creating an environment that fosters new life. I care for mother cows and newborn calves, nurturing them through the beginning of the life cycle. The entire beef industry is relying on me to provide a quality product they can work with. This is the beginning of the American beef industry. I am proud of what we'll do here today.
Let's face it, you don't think a lot about your trailer hitch. You use it and forget it. We understand. But at B&W, we think about it. Short nights, the long hauls, the never-ending chores, the unthinkable. We think about it all, so you don't have to. B&W. Trusted.
So what do you care if your cattle are source and age verified? Better yet, do you think the housewife cares? Well, 70% of consumers surveyed want to know where their food comes from. So where do you start? With this little green ear tag. IMI Global is the seal of approval that stands behind the beef you produced. IMI is engaged in source and age verification from the cow man to the kitchen table. So if you're ready to start, just ask us. IMIGlobal.com.
If farmers were a race, we'd be a minority smaller than the National Left-Handed Americans for a fair shake. So I'm thinking there must be more opportunities for farmers to elevate our reputation. Harold Karishna has Adopt a Heifer. The BLM has Adopt a Mustang. Freeways have Adopt a Mile. How about Adopt a Farmer? We could have a spin-off of the dating game. 3 farmers could sit behind a curtain while a real American consumer could ask questions of, say, a sheep herder and a corn farmer and a horse whisperer.
Which one of you enjoys long walks, can cook mutton, and appreciates privacy?
Pick me, I'm down there on land, I'm the guy in the wool coat.
Do any of you enjoy long winters by the fire and a good book?
Well, if you mean by the shop, I spent a lot of time there in the winter. Oh, yeah, I did read a book one time, Golfing for Dummies. Pick me.
Okay. I have a very nice horse property, but I need someone to listen to me.
Ma'am, does that come with a credit card too?
I think we can eliminate the cowboy.
And maybe, as a means of impressing the urban majority, we could hold our own American Farmer Idol. As a matter of fact, a virtual Farmer Idol contest was held by the Delmarva Peninsulites, and the finalists included A soybean farmer who sculpts tofu, B, a sheep producer who can knit their wool into the shape of a coyote while they're still unshorn, and or a chicken farmer who put Tabasco sauce in his pullet feed to stimulate hot wings. But the winner was an Illinois River fish farmer who invented the Asian carp cake, carp legs, the carp apple tree, and even carp grass for your lawn. His theme song was, I've got carps, you've got carps, everybody's got the carps. It was actually his second attempt at winning the American Farmer Idol. He tried the year before when he was a crab fisherman in Maryland, but he was disqualified when the judges heard his theme song. This is Baxter Black from out there.
Thanks, Baxter. We can always count on you for some creative ideas. We'll be right back.
I am an NCBA member.
I am an NCBA member.
I'm an NCBA member because our nation's capital is a long way from home and my cattle operation. I pay my dues to keep a staff here in DC working on behalf of the industry and working on my behalf every day on all the issues.
The NCBA doesn't pick and choose what issues it works on. It works on every issue, every day, on behalf of all the cattlemen across the country.
NCBA membership is important because there are policymakers and regulatory agencies making decisions that affect your operation every day.
Join me and thousands of other cattlemen across the country.
We are better together than we are alone.
Your support is needed.
We are NCBA membership. Join us today.
Join NCBA today and receive a new member gift while supplies last. Head to beefusa.org and enter the promo code C2C or call 866-USA-BEEF and mention C2C.
At Cabela's Corporate Outfitters, our business is outfitting your business with everything from customized clothing and equipment to great incentives like gift cards and hunting or fishing trips. We carry more than 150,000 products, all backed by Cabela's world-famous commitment to quality and service, along with volume-based pricing for any size business or budget. You trust Cabela's with your outdoor experiences, so rely on Cabela's Corporate Outfitters to build your brand. Visit us today at cabela's.com/B2B.
Welcome back. Let's have a look at this week's legacy photos from the Region 1 winner of the Environmental Stewardship Award. submit your favorite farm or ranch photo, just visit our website at cattleman2cattleman.org. We'd love to see them. Next week on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, the 2012 Farm Bill, where it stands and what it means for the future of the agricultural industry. Plus, what one Colorado operation is doing to remain sustainable on the western slope. And an inside look at the unique pasture-to-plate approach one West Virginia operation is using to boost their business. Well, that does it for this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. We'll see you right back here next week on RFD TV.